Welcome to RoboQuest. I know a lot of y'all are probably scratching your head like, what the heck game is this? Listen, okay, hear me out before you bust out the classic crickets.mp3. This is one of the best games out there right now, and it's just for 25 bucks. At its core, it's an FPS roguelite with fairly linear progression both in and out of gameplay. My favorite thing about it is the Borderlands style wacky weapon randomization and the art style that makes sure no two sessions are ever going to be the same at all. They got stuff like Chainsaw from Doom, and they got the contraption that killed Shinzo Abe.
What do you mean by that?
Have I mentioned the fact that there's 6 dope-ass superpowered robots? And it's 4-player co-op. This game has been on my playdar for a while now, and finally getting around to it, it took me just about 40 hours of dedicated grinding to get all 76 of the Steam achievements. With my past experience as a Call of Duty movement kitty, I was able to catch on to the basic movement mechanics pretty quickly. After beating the tutorial, of course, they'd recommend me to play on the hardest difficulty available at the time. I am the GOAT after all. So while you're playing on hard, the game does reward you with extra currency, which I will need to spend in the thousands of to get more than a few achievements. That also means I probably wasn't doing the most optimal strategy when it comes to speed and the grind, but that's okay. You'll notice my channel is about playing how I want, not always how I should. RoboQuest, like most games that all 100%, has collectibles tied to achievements. Thankfully, 99% of them don't actually require that much extra effort, allowing you to passively pick them up as you grind and get kills. There is more of that traditional collectible in the form of the data logs that you actually have to actively search for, ranging from digging them out of the dirt to finding them tucked away in corners and on rooftops. 51 of them are needed to succeed on my Robo journey. And speaking of data logs, my very first achievement popped when I grabbed my first one in the Oasis route of the first run ever. And that's not even a few minutes later at the end of the same section. I dealt a grand total of 10,000 damage between the tutorial and the first run for my second achievement already. I spent just under 20 minutes grinding the Oasis route because hard difficulty is actually hard when you're on the first run ever. But I'm so cracked. The first boss crumbled under the might of my mouse and keys. Digimole tries his best, but in the end, he stays getting styled on for the rest of the 40 hours in this game. He's getting cooked, bro. But for his sacrifice, he rewards us with another achievement for getting to the end of Chapter 1. A couple mistakes I made pretty often in the early days was I kept forgetting to grab health from the repair bot in all of the checkpoints, which is what costed the first run. And then B, not realizing that the bonus drones that go across the railings and make this noise, they dramatically increase your XP gains, which equals more class bonuses, health, and raw ability power. In RoboQuest, there are 2 types of currency. Both of them are earned through killing enemies and getting high-ranking scores and going fast, but these wrenches. No, not those wrenches, jeez. Ratchet & Clank comes later. These wrenches can also come extra from playing on harder difficulties like I was talking about before. They can be used to buy tons more things both in the hub between games, and later on they can be used to roll a slot machine or rounding out your collectibles in the endgame. The other currency is the power cell. No, not that power cell from the game series Jak and Daxter. These power cells that you collect during a run, but they expire if you die or you beat the game. These can be used to buy upgraded weapons and items, but they can also upgrade the weapons that you're holding, or they can unlock some other doors, or be traded with specific NPCs for collectibles. I brought this up because both currencies have specific achievements tied directly to them. That includes our next achievement. On the second run of my career, I took the path toward the ruins instead of Oasis this time. In the first checkpoint, you can give some spare change to Wall Street Slim, my GOAT. The ruins are definitely more difficult than the Oasis, especially early on, but I locked in like that one anime clip that people post all the time now. 1 HP and a dream, I got my 500th bot kill for an achievement. Despite being goated with the sauce, I fell over in literally the very next section of combat. Luckily, while I was playing, I convinced my girlfriend to buy the game and play with me. She's a big fan of shooty games like me, so it only made sense. And it ended up being a good thing too, because I unknowingly needed her help anyway to get a few of those co-op achievements. While waiting for her to install, I did a quick run, but I saw this weird little fuck just strolling around the canyons. And while I fucking 360 no-scoped his ass this time, I will need him soon. So now that her game was all ready to go, and dealing with the average indie game technical difficulties when playing online, we got connected together and that gave us both an achievement. We got all the way to mid-Oasis as a duo. She's definitely not as goated as me, so she went down. So I go over to help, and I got an achievement for reviving her, and the game took away half my HP for it. And at the exact same time, I happened to unlock the Commando, which is a playable robot, for getting my 750th enemy kill in the game for a 2-piece McNugget achievement combo. We didn't make it that much farther in that run, but it gave me a chance to give the Commando bot a try, which is bar none the worst bot, in my opinion, of the 6. Not off to a great start, but I did get a big triple with my rocket ability for a nice little achievement. Interestingly, Selena found out that pushing the spacebar during the loading screen causes the bus to do a little hop. Not only is that cute as frick, but it's also for an achievement too. In true PlayStation 2 fashion, I kept collecting wrenches and power cells, and I got 50 collected total on both of them for 2 more big ones. So me and Selena made it to a boss after Oasis called Billy Boom. He's a counterpart to Robo Mole. He was extra tanky and he ended up defeating us, and they gave us an achievement for being washed up. We did another run where I finally saw that little fucker again, just sitting there. I picked him up by his dumbass little head, and yet again, another achievement. You can use him and his arm as a gun, and his alt fire ability makes a shadow clone jutsu of him, so you know, that's cool. He's also permanently available to grab at the start of any run from now on. Selena and I made it all the way to the field section of the map where we had a random encounter with a portal near the corrupted purple area of the chapter. Going in that portal drops you yet another duo combo of achievements. My little achievement notifier was bugged at this moment, so just pretend that these pop-ups are the same as the others, please. It happens more than once, so my bad. Anyways, that portal took us to what is called a corruption zone. This is usually some kind of time trial or combat trial, or even a combination of both. They reward you with power crystals if you complete them. On this try, we didn't make it, but those crystals give you benefits when you reach the final level, and also give you achievements for getting them all. So put a pin in that. We took our ass back to base and ran it again. This time, back in the ruins, I gave our boy Wall Street Slim an additional power cell to trade for our first ever gadget, the briefcase, on top of an achievement for our troubles. Gadgets are these passive buffs that help you through the game as long as you can unlock them. They range from things like getting health from spending power cells, or increasing your damage while also decreasing your health, a little jetpack to float around through the map, or even a real ass grappling hook, my goat. Me and Selena then had a bit of an issue with our dial-up, because mom was on the phone again, god damn it.
Open the door. Oh, are we lagging?
I thought you were over here.
I was, but we've lagged out.
Dang.
It was going so well.
I think I'm tired.
So Selena took a break, and I continued to be on my Sigma male grind set type shit lone wolf for the foreseeable future. So right at the end of Oasis on the next run, I ended up stacking over 500,000 total damage on this file for a new achievement. And then later on, I had an encounter with Dr. Turret Boss. As opposed to Billy Boom and Molebot, Dr. Turret does not move around, but he has an arsenal of missiles, flamethrowers, and rotational lasers. I beat him and scored an achievement, my 5th total boss defeat overall because I am GOAT. This also marked the first time that I was able to actually make it to the end of the field section and get to the energy center and clear that too. Even I surprise myself sometimes. At the end of the energy center, it's my first encounter with the Sir Catercoaster, which is basically one of the first boss fights of attrition. Acid will rise from the floors, and the only safe spot becomes the grind rail that Catercoaster himself is sliding across. He shoots seeking missiles, plants ice bombs, laser turrets, and has a battering ram ability, but my goated movement, an overpowered sniper rifle, and hand cannon made me the victor once again. I unlocked the Recon class for an achievement, as well as a second achievement for beating Chapter 2 and moving into Chapter 3. Haven City is the next area, Not that Haven City. Can we stay focused, please? Thanks. This area has a ton of enemies, and once you unlock some of the doors, it becomes a good place to gear up. The next and second to last level is District 13, an area full of corruption and robots trying to kill you. So basically, a metaphor for Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, I got Omega owned by eating this sneaky ass bomb drone to the chin for nearly 100 damage, man, damn. And that wiped the run. I am washed up. But with all of those wrenches that I earned through the half hour, I spent enough of them to unlock myself the Engineer, which will eventually become my final form, and unlocks an achievement. As the one and only RoboQuest player, I had to reaffirm my goatedness by doing an achievement where you beat a boss damageless. The easiest character for this is probably Guardian because of his invincibility bubble, but I'm sure anyone can do it with some smooth moves. But of course, I had to do this against Diggy Mole, the most washed up boss in the game. This is a new achievement unlocked without a sweat. On the next run, I had my sights set on an achievement where you have to Goomba stomp 5 heads of enemies without touching the ground at all. Luckily, the movement is super well designed, so whenever you head bonk, you get your jump back. This takes some finesse, but when you're the Robo Goat like me, you can do anything you put your mind to. For the next bunch of runs, getting owned in the fields is my specialty at this point, but the next run, I dealt my millionth point of damage versus enemies for another achievement. In true video game fashion, whenever there's a waterfall, you should always try to run through it. 9 times out of 10, there's some shit behind it, and this is where you unlock the item pickup that gives you the Ranger class as well as an achievement. I went a good half hour without any other achievement drops, but with a couple runs under my belt and defeating Mole Man again, I got my 10th total boss defeat. I then grinded for another hour almost. I wanted to try out some of the other classes like the Recon and the Ranger, but that led to me killing my 5,000th enemy bot for another achievement as well. Diggy Mole unironically got revenge on me after all these times I shitted on him. I fell right into his trap card and fell over on my ass. So a few achievements coming up. The notifier got fucked up here, but just pretend that the pop-up is real, okay? So by this point, I was playing a ton of the Recon kit. This class is the one that studied the blade, and he's knife maxing his way to greatness. I selected one of his skills that turns his knife attack into a piercing ranged slash. While using this in one of the gauntlet rooms, I skillfully slashed 3 enemies at the same time. That's one of my many class-specific achievements. And also at the same time, since the notification thing is bugged, I did get my 250th wrench currency, which is an achievement itself. So one of the most obvious and earliest corruption zones that you can get to for a power crystal is the one that requires you to make it to the midpoint of Oasis in less than 3 minutes from the start. Before I entered this corruption zone though, I saw a new item that I could buy with power cells called the Wonka Bar. This item has a 75% chance to do absolutely nothing, but a 25% chance to give you back 25 power cells after you buy it. And you know me, 99% of gamblers quit when they're about to hit it big. So I copped the chocolate and I actually hit the jackpot, baby. Let's fucking go. So then I traveled to the Rift Zone. And if you go fast enough and defuse the bomb, what I meant was, if you go fast enough and defuse this bomb, it allows you to collect a power crystal, specifically the blue one. I got an achievement for that as well. I also believe I defeated my 15th boss in this moment as well. Allegedly, it was Dr. Turret. This seems to match up with the time on Steam and the recording length. Let's keep going. After many hours of grinding, I finally was able to clear through the District 13 section. This is my first time facing down Uncle Jim, and this early on especially, he's genuinely pretty damn difficult. I think I really only won because of Guardian's bubble shield, and I got an achievement for clearing chapter 3. This brings us to none other than the moon. Chat, is this a Moonsout reference? Thoughts?
My favorite part about this game is when Moonsout played it and then he said it's a moon time and then he mooned all over the place.
So I used some power cells and bought another upgrade from the item shop, and that stacked 15 buffs in one run for an achievement. Well, I went in ultra confident. This is the final area. But Iris, the final boss and antagonist, is so damn strong, bro.
Iris, whoa, she looks cool.
She has seeking missiles, moving laser grids, stunning laser beams, hacking flashbangs, volcanic eruptions, slowing ice bombs, and all I have is a lousy sniper rifle and a burst fire missile launcher. To be honest, I didn't even come close to beating her, but I did go down swinging, and that's what matters, right? At this point, despite me having hours and hours of footage to scrub through, achievements are becoming few and far between in this mid-game. But each run allows me to slowly and surely tack on those wrench upgrades, pad my stats, and get more and more muscle memory to bring down the final boss eventually. Along the way there, I picked up my 500th wrench for an achievement, as well as dropping my 10,000th bot kill for another achievement. That should put into perspective how hard I grinded, considering my last achievements were 5,000 kills and 250 wrenches. So remember Buddy Bot from all that time ago when I picked his bitch ass up off the floor and held him like a little baby boy? Turns out, he's actually a pretty useful key to unlocking some crazy stuff in the Oasis. If you unlock this area behind where? Of course, it's behind a goddamn waterfall. You can pick up swim trunks to bring to Johnny Waterfall in the combat section, as well as another friendly bot who will upgrade Buddy Bot to the highest rarity of a weapon. Not only is it one achievement, but two. One for upgrading Buddy Bot specifically, and also for just having a generic fantastic weapon equipped at all. So by doing all of this Metroid style backtracking and exploration, that gives you key items and quest items that let you unlock doors and secret areas. I made it to a door that requires 25 power cells to open. Inside, it's another corruption zone where you have to beat the clock, but this time, enemies are trying hard to beat your ass. While loading in, I coincidentally gathered my 1000th power cell after getting the rewards from completing the fields. And right after that, I beat the corrupted zone, got a third power crystal for it with an achievement. Now I have blue, teal, and purple. Real quick, if you want purple, you have to go to the ruins route and battle enemies in a dark area. This one isn't timed, but elite and uncommon enemies are everywhere, so if you aren't prepared for a fight, you will get clapped, which is tough, but clearing it gets you the crystal. After the teal clear, that takes you to the midpoint of the Aqua Station. Right before finishing this, I collected a data log at the door, which also happened to be the 20th one I collected while grinding on my own. No guide needed, an achievement unlocked. Over 2 hours of straight robot mayhem, I finally made my way through quest items and collecting things to unlock the quarry area. If you find a code in the midpoint of the good old canyons, you can use it to unlock a secret area in that quarry area, but it's random for everyone. Now you know where to find it. Inside this secret area, you can find two things: the shovel for the shovel achievement, and the lever for the lever achievement. From here, you can use the door to take you to the pit.
I finna be in the pit.
This area has a few corrupted doors, and it takes you to the El Mostico boss fight. He's not hard, but he ain't a cakewalk either. But either way, beating the boss gives you a red power crystal as well. It's not for an achievement, but just saying for posterity. Also, when going through the Aqua Station, you can find the yellow power crystal in there by heading through a locked door. That takes you to the fusion core, where you can travel through a super long section full of acid platforming lasers and jam-packed with enemies. Fortunately, this power crystal section is not timed at all, so I took my time bonking heads and plinking the enemies away until you reach the final boss, Duke Nuker.
This guy's a beefcake, but if there's two things I'm here to do, it's to kick robot ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
So in Haven City, I unlocked the red door with the movie ticket, and inside you can trade Randy, a Mr. Potato Head looking ass nose, and that's how you get the jetpack. That happened to be my 5th gadget overall, dropping in another achievement for me. One of the more difficult achievements coming up is hitting level 15. The route that I took was going from canyons, the split into quarry, and then from quarry, you take the secret door to the pit. The pit takes you to Aqua Station, which you can go through that secret door of the fusion core, which we just talked about, and that takes you to Haven City, District 13, and then finally the moon. So getting S rank XP on all these levels should get you enough to hit level 15 before you get to the Iris boss fight. Mine popped right at the very end of the second gauntlet, so be really sure you get as much XP as you possibly can if you're going for this. So funny enough, I actually didn't even clear this run despite being absolutely stacked with levels and XP. What I didn't know was that Iris has 2 phases, an absolute shocker to me.
Did I succeed? There's more than one phase? Okay, pull out.
Literally a shocker. Phase 2 Iris attacks go even harder. From huge claw swipes to seeking elemental missiles, ice lasers, triple rotational lasers, I just couldn't seal the deal this time. You can really hear the disappointment, Lamau.
Oh, I'm so close.
But I still had that juice in me. I wasn't done yet. With nothing but a shovel and a windmill rifle, my goated weapon of all time, let's get this shit. That fucking windmill rifle shreds, man. With all of that cleared up, and Iris finally cured of the corruption virus, that rolled the credits and rolled 2 achievements, one for beating the game for the first time, and another for beating it specifically as Guardian. Beating Iris was a lot simpler now that I came prepared with guns that actually do damage. Completing it the first time on hard finally unlocks Guardian difficulties. Basically, it's New Game Plus that stacks all the way up to Guardian 4, which will be absolute insanity. But before I do any of that, I took the time to go open a door that needed the 6-digit string. Opening that gives you access to the Elemental class, probably my second favorite behind the Engineer, and also access to the art gallery in Haven City, which will be the key to cleaning up those endgame collectibles. I decided that the next time that I'd play RoboQuest, it'd be on stream right here on my YouTube channel. If you ever want to show some support for me and my videos, feel free to come by my streams. But for now, let's cut to the chase. I got absolutely 0 achievements most of the streaming day. However, Selena was there and she wanted to hang out and play on stream as well. We did play on the easy mode because I didn't want her clock to get cleaned by these bots. She still did, but you know, Lamau. That being said, we made it all the way to Iris because I was putting in that work, baby. Turns out you get an achievement when you beat the game with an online friend, which is dope. And also, I got another one on top of that for playing through on Engineer as well. Very cool. And that's also what started me maining the Engineer in general, foreshadowing. Next up, I wanted to get as many of those miscellaneous or class-based or challenging achievements as I could. So while sticking to the Engineer, there's an achievement related to having 5 deployable friendly bots at the same time. The method I chose to use is to bring BuddyBot with you and use his alt fire to spawn a friend. And as you level up, choose the upgrade path that allows you to have more than 2 drones flying at once. And just like that, you have 5 deployed friends easy mode. Finally, we're going to go for that last power crystal, the green one. This one exists in a secret spot in the Aqua Station. You can find a corner that has some vines in it. Going through them brings you access to the Waste Station. This is the final time trial section, so I can go for a 2-in-1 combo with the bomb at the end. You have to pull a CSGO style defusal on them by disarming the bomb in the last second. I did this one by going on good old Reddit and seeing how long it actually takes to defuse the bomb. They said 3 seconds, but once that timer hits a 3, you hit and hold the button and guarantee yourself yet another achievement. The next one I went for was trying to hit the maximum movement speed bonus of 70%. The easiest way that I think you can get this, you want to go for the dexterity perk at the start of each run to add 6% movement speed by default. Next, you want the rollerblades gadget active. Both combined give you 18% movement speed after you ride a rail. After that, it's time to hit the rift zone once again. That was the one you can reach by getting to the door in Oasis in under 3 minutes. This area has orbs that give you 55% speed boost when you run across them, so our 18% plus that 55% maxes us at 70% too easy. And now that I've collected all the power crystals and purchased every wrench upgrade at the workshop, I got myself another achievement for upgrade maxing. The next thing I did was I trifecta. I wanted to get the 2 where you beat the game with BuddyBot in your kit and also beating the game as Recon. That was super easy. I mean, that was so easy that I even got S rank on every single section. That means getting tons of XP by killing tons and tons of bots, but it also means killing everything fast enough that you get to the end of the game with about 35-ish minutes or less on the final clock. My notifier glitched this time, but you get the idea, my guy. Next, I had to take the Guardian class for a spin and go down the Bonk Hammer upgrade path. You also have to face Diggy Mole once again. He's so bad, bro lost to a hammer and I got an achievement for it. A little bit later, I got my 2000th power cell for the final currency collecting achievement. You'd have to beat Jack 1 20 times to get that many power cells, so that means RoboQuest is the better game, obviously. While in the Bonk Hammer run, I also went for an achievement where you get the maximum ammo bonus while playing as Guardian. That stacks up to 75%, but I'm not 100% sure why that popped up when it did, but I do know. Next thing to go for is doing 1000 damage with the Javelin ability on the Ranger loadout. By this point, I was so close. With all my perks activated, I hit this Goliath for just under 950 damage. All it took to push it over the edge was the perk Ranger Senses. Not to get too political or anything, with that, this little bot, dressed as a cop, gets his back blown out by a 1002 damage Javelin. Get cucked, little baby boy. I then completed that Ranger run by beating Iris and got another achievement. I followed that up by playing as Commando, the Woat, and beating the game again for the next one. I then continued miscellaneous achievement hunt by trying to hit the maximum armor bonus. Similar to movement speed, armor is another stat that you can increase with items and certain perks and such. The Reddit approved build is to go the Engineer, my goat. Of course, this achievement took me like 3 full runs to get, so let me explain why. Armor maxes out at 60%. In order to increase armor as the Engineer, the first thing you have to build into is the chromatic suit. This gives you armor until you take damage. When you pick the perk the first time, that buff is only at 28% on the armor, but you can build further into it by going hardened steel. This increases the bonus buff by 8 up to 36%. On top of that, even further, then you gotta build into the Scrap Snacks perk tree. You can build further into it and get both a 12% increased movement and armor bonus every time you deploy or repair. Heavy weapons will also give you a flat 8% armor bonus in their random perks. I think as long as they are purple rarity or higher, but I'm not 100% on that. So that brings us to a grand total of 56%, only 4% short now. So I was able to close the deal by getting the RNG item drop in Haven City's item stores, the bold and the beautiful Carnival Mask, and the Flat Cannon heavy weapon combo for the next one. Continuing with some more of those class-specific achievements, I had to hit 1000 damage with the Elemental's Comet. The Elementalist is dope because he's basically a max-level goated D&D wizard. In order to do big damage, I had to build for it as you would assume. Finally, after stacking all that shit, spamming abilities, and being level 12, and hitting this little turret fuck, I landed it at exactly 1008 damage for the achievement. My ass had the calculator out and everything, bros. I finally did it. I was also using this opportunity to collect nearly all of the data logs using this guide from an extremely base YouTuber, Little Cats Gaming. Look at this cute ass cat, bro, god damn. But I did finish the match, I got 1k damage in, so I could also get the achievement for beating the game with Elementalist. I collected the very last, the final, the 51st data log sitting in the Aqua Station for the achievement. That allowed me to return to the canyons and turn them into the guy at the heal station, which gives us the final gadget in the collections. That's another achievement. Now, it is time for the true God Gamer grind. I had to beat Guardian Rank 1, Guardian Rank 2, and Guardian Rank 3 just to even unlock the ability to finally beat Guardian Rank 4. On top of rank 4 requiring an S rank in everything, just to get 2 achievements for the end of it all. Hard to Guardian rank 1 is honestly not that bad. On my first try, of course, using my goated and beloved Engineer, I was able to take down Iris. Even a full S rank, man, I'm fucking crazy. So at this point, I've built a little confidence, so I immediately jump into Guardian rank 2. Somehow, despite it being harder, I cleared this a whole 2 minutes faster than G rank 1. I think it's because I'm packing the windmill rifle in my backpack. I fucking love that gun, man. So now I'm feeling super confident. Guardian rank 3, I'm coming for your ass. Wait. And gamers, I did not disappoint. Bringing my trusty windmill rifle and goated with the Engineer sauce, Guardian rank 3 was washed even faster than Guardian rank 2. Only about 30 seconds faster overall, but we certainly take those. By this point, I am head over heels with confidence. Little did I know, Guardian rank 4 is an entirely and completely different beast. The first attempt, I made it all the way to Iris in a little over 32 minutes. I was definitely pushing the limits on the clock, for sure. I had already S-ranked everything prior, but the health difference between 3 and 4 is significant, I think 10%. The pressure of the clock had me nervous, I won't lie, and trying to force extra damage instead of focusing on dodging, in the heat of the moment, things get the best of me. Run 2 of G rank 4. Again, I think I made myself a little too short on time to hit S rank, but I almost couldn't even clinch out a win on phase 1. Yo, just listen to the nerves get to me in this moment.
Wait, I'm alive! Okay. Okay. Come on.
But as I lead into phase 2, here's what happened.
Lasers! Oh, God, what? It's so unlucky!
Yeah, those lasers fucked me up, bro. Gotta get good, I guess. The third time will be the charm, hopefully. I felt pretty strong on this run. I did switch from Engineer to Guardian class, because I figured that the bubble shield would be a lifesaver if I used it properly, and that the Guardian could still be competitive DPS-wise. Just comparing the clocks from Engineer runs to the Guardian runs, I am way behind on time. Let's hope that's not an omen for anything. At this point, I was just so focused on clearing this once and for all that I wasn't even looking at the clock at all during a majority of my playtime on the Guardian. But let's just be a little hopeful, what could go wrong this time?
Oh, it's a fucking A rank! Are you kidding?
The sound of that disappointment at the end rings in my ears daily. At the very least, I did get an achievement for clearing Guardian without the S ranks. Attempt number 4 is absolutely embarrassing. Back on the Engineer class, I was spending so much time getting prepped and ready for opening the door. My enemies were more prepped though. Just look at this absolute fucking steamroll.
What the fuck is happening? Let me out!
I have never been more violated in my whole life. I did not deserve this, man. Attempt number 5 is where I begin to finalize my build and my playstyle. At this point, I'm at the mercy of what RNG will throw my way when it comes to weaponry, items, and Iris attack patterns.
This is so fucking hard! What do I do?
You can tell this shit was about to break my spirit, but you know what they say. We go again. Number 6, I had a pretty good damn build. The problem is I took too much damage on phase 1, so I didn't get a full heal going into phase 2. I then immediately got hit by a claw that feels like I didn't deserve to get hit by this, man. And then the rotational lasers hitting me 2 times for 200 damage raw, and that's with 4% armor. Iris then sends the heartbreaking super speed laser grid for 250 raw damage total to wipe me for good. And she had less than probably 15% of her health left. You can hear that shit knock me out of my chair. So absolutely soul crushing, but you know what I said? Run that shit the fuck back. So I finalized my build and my route. So here it is. The moment we are all waiting for. It's finally time for the Iris boss fight. Get fucking hyped. Are you hyped yet? That build-up was crazy, right? So looking at the clock, in this moment, I'm thinking that I have lots of time. So I want to use the extra time to make sure that I clear these little nodes. This prevents the laser grid attack from spawning in. I also know that I have plenty of time to dodge attacks when I need to. Each of my blaster shots would deal like 1000 damage and bring in a ton of scraps and healing for pancake damage. Both guns were so goddamn overpowered. That freeze rate was insane, bro. And the bit of fire damage helped a lot more than I thought it would on the pulsar rifle. And on phase 1, I literally only got hit once, and she couldn't even activate laser grid once. Just look at my phase 2, man. She ain't even actionable before I've already done a fat quarter of her health. She hasn't even swung yet. So half of Iris's HP is gone before I even get hit. And of course, what hit me is lasers. But then she uses lasers again, and I get hit like 3 more times. But it is not enough, as Iris is melted into nothing but pixels of explosions. And the first person I tell is Selena, who is right behind me, Lamau.
There it is. Ultimate Guardian. 2% of people unlocked it.
So that is the second hardest thing in RoboQuest finally complete. Oh yeah, you heard me right, the second hardest thing. There's only a little bit of grinding left. So here's the hardest thing to do in RoboQuest. That is to change your language to French. Okay, but for real, Guardian Rank 4 is by far the hardest thing. All that's left to do at this point is finish up filling the museum. For the most part, the museum will fill itself passively as you play. Use weapons you haven't used before, killing enemies of large numbers, collecting all the data logs, and so on. Once you get far enough, you can use the wrenches on the artist in Haven City, which also adds to the collections in the museum as well. Once I finished Guardian Rank 4, I had already bought or collected all of the zoo cards, which is the ones for enemies, robots, and boss battles. I collected or bought all of the cards for every single weapon, which is just GOAT behaviors. All that was left was collecting everything in the bazaar section. This means that you have to get every type of viable passive item in the game. By this point, I needed 3 common rarity items, 2 superior rarity items, and 3 fantastic rarity items. And horrendously, 20 Purple Door corrupted items. So I googled the list of items and I was able to write down the ones that I was missing so I know what to look out for, and I was marking them off slowly but surely. I pretty much just speed zoom through canyons, hitting its Purple Door and the midpoint shop. Then I would go down the Oasis route, I would hit that Purple Door, and I would check the fantastic item drop for the missing ones that I needed, and then I would check Oasis midpoint shops for any more. So to save you all the headache, the one that I currently have, I'm just going to use some editing magic to skip through all of that shit. Haha, but I tricked you! One of the items that I was missing is actually a co-op only item. The very last one for the achievement, Selena makes her final return to the RoboQuest video. We basically ran the same route, but now we don't have to hit the Purple Door anymore, or the Fantastic Drop. So after a few tries, I finally got the final item. Now for the 76th and final achievement, the actual most hardest and grindiest achievement in the game. I'm just gonna have to show you, okay? I can't explain this one to you. And that's it. That's all of RoboQuest achievements checked off and complete. I had lots of fun pretty much all the way through. Shout out the devs at Rise Up Studios, man, they fucking cooked on this game. And shout out me for being the GOAT. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I appreciate that. If you made it this far, you owe me a like and subscribe, that's the rules. RoboQuest is officially February's video, and as we speak, I am preparing for March. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but you might get sneak peeks of things by joining me on my future live streams, joining my Discord, and or following me on Twitter. That would mean a lot to me and the channel. 1 video a month is going well. School is boring, but also going well. Summertime will be when I pop off, just like last year. Check out my second channel for a bit of bonus content. Mostly Call of Duty right now, but I want to get some Baldur's Gate 3 up there too one day. Maybe some Cyberpunk, I don't know. Other than that, the Moon Knights and I will see you all in the next one.